As we get close to the end of the liturgical year, which we have 33rd Sunday this Sunday, then Christ the King the following Sunday, and then the week, Monday through Saturday, and then we're into a new liturgical year with the Advent. As we grow close to the end of the liturgical year, it is a reminder to us in our readings about also the end of time, the end of our lives. The four last things that they talk about: death, judgment, heaven, and hell. They come up again and again in the readings. Of course, this is a lot of what Jesus is talking about right before the Passion narratives. So this, of course, follows along very well with what we're hearing today. And Jesus is reminding us, he's saying, you have to be prepared now. You have to be prepared to see me now. People in the days of Noah, people were eating and drinking, marrying, giving. It looked like the normal, everyday thing. And suddenly the rain started coming. Or in the day when Lot left Sodom, people were eating and drinking, buying, selling, planting, building, all these things. And then fire came from the sky and destroyed them all. And Jesus is saying, sometimes you're not going to see things in the heavens. And even in our own lives, of course, any of us could die before the end of the day today. None of us know. None of us know the day or the time. Now, that doesn't mean we have to go around scared, but rather just saying, if this is my last day on earth, and I have to stand before Almighty God, what would I do? How would I live my life differently? How would I live it the same? If we live out our vocation. And Jesus is saying, at the end of the gospel today, he's saying don't go down. If someone's on the housetop, don't go down and grab something. If you're in the field, don't go back. Remember the wife of Lot. You all remember what happened to the wife of Lot. She was like, oh, I want to go back. And she turned into pillar of salt. And the Lord is saying, the only thing that matters, ultimately, is that which lasts. Our relationship with Almighty God and the soul of each person. Everything else will pass away. Are we willing to let go? In the first reading today, we hear from the second letter of St. John. I didn't look ahead, but I'm guessing this is all we're going to get from the second letter of John because it's a very short letter. But we hear, now, lady, I ask you, not as though I were writing a new commandment, but that let us love one another. For this is love, that we walk according to his commandments. There's a story that says that when St. John was in his last years of life, his disciples would come around and say, give us a word, Father, give us a word. And he'd say, children, love one another. You said that to us before, we know that. Give us a word. He says, children, let us love one another. That love is the essence. Even today, as we celebrate the feast day of St. Albert the Great, I'm sure all of you have a deep devotion to St. Albert, right? Right, Father. But St. Albert, you probably heard of one of his students, St. Thomas Aquinas, who was one of the greatest thinkers to ever live. And so Albert taught Thomas. And Albert was a master in philosophy and so many other things. And yet, what was the key? It said in the Ordo, as I was reading this morning, it said that he wrote about tomes on the Sacred Heart. And what is the heart of the devotion to the Sacred Heart? But love. Love of God for us, and our love of God by making reparation to his heart. That at the heart of the heart is love. And that even someone as learned and as doctrinally intelligent as St. Albert knew that is the core. And so when Jesus is saying, get ready, be ready, he's saying, love. Love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. You know, these aren't new things. These aren't things we haven't heard before. But, you know, Jesus keeps repeating them over and over again. I think it's because we haven't quite gotten it yet. At least I know I haven't. And so let us ask God for that grace to grow in love today, to grow in love of God, to grow in love of neighbor.